Hi, and welcome back to Cannabis Infused Motherhood YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be recording a third in the series talking about my car accident experience. The first two videos that I recorded was the actual accident itself, so I went over kind of what happened, how we got out of the car, things like that. And the second video I recorded was talking about my hospital stay and my experience while I was in the hospital immediately after the accident. And in this video, I'm going to talk about kind of the healing process from the time I got home to where I am at this very moment in time. So it is now October, what are we today? October 17th, okay? So almost 4 months post accident. So the accident happened in July, and if you watched my other videos, you kind of know the whole story going on up until I got home. So yeah, when I was still in the hospital, I was extremely nervous about coming home because obviously I was in a lot of pain, neck, shoulder. My side is all bruised. Obviously, my foot was also broken pretty severely. Had to have surgery for that. So I was a nervous wreck having to come home because I have two young kids. My oldest is 5, and he is severely autistic. He's nonverbal. He's still in diapers. We have a lot of kind of unique struggles that go along with all of that. And my youngest is 2.5, and at this point, he's also nonverbal. And we are in the process of um, getting him an autism diagnosis as well because we're concerned about his development and things like that. And because he has an older brother on the spectrum, it's even more likely that he may be as well. At this point, I don't think it's as severe as his older brother, but just the fact that he still doesn't have very many words and just the way that he acts sometimes really reminds me of his older brother. So we're trying to get all that in the works. But, anyways, relating that back to my accident, I don't have a typical home life. I don't have a typical 5-year-old who would be able to, hand me diapers for his younger brother and stuff like that, or even just to listen to simple instructions or to behave a little better because mom's hurt. That doesn't exist at my house. My house is complete chaos from the minute the kids wake up to the minute they fall asleep, and even sometimes in the middle of the night. Um, they are very unpredictable. They're not typical children that, can follow instructions or even comprehend the fact that mom's hurt and not able to be climbed on or really play or pick them up. So at that point, I was like terrified to come home. And I remember the night I got home, I was laying on the couch and my oldest came running out of his room, like barreling towards me. And I like screamed and I had an anxiety attack. I started bawling my eyes out because I was actually literally terrified of my own kid because I was in so much pain. I didn't want to, be jumped on and get hurt even worse. So that was kind of heartbreaking in the way that I was actually like scared of my own children. So that was something that I had to overcome. And just in the past couple weeks, I'm finally able to, play with them a little bit more. I can't pick up my oldest, but I could pick up my youngest now. I'm doing a little better. So that was a huge struggle. Coming out of the hospital and having to deal with the healing process along with my crazy home life. Another thing is my bedroom is on the lower level of the house. So we have 2 stories. My bedroom is in the basement. And I couldn't do stairs at all whatsoever for like 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital. I couldn't even get up and down with crutches because the rest of my body was so banged up and bruised up that I didn't have the strength to get myself up and down. So I pretty much lived on the couch for the first couple weeks. I slept on the couch. I barely moved off the couch. And I had my sister helping me taking care of the kids because I was totally incapable of doing anything like housework or making them meals or giving them the attention they deserve. So I had to have her come in and kind of help me with that. I had total of 2 plaster casts and then eventually got into my boot. Um, the entire healing process is kind of a blur at this point. Like, I'm finally coming out of it and being able to function as a normal human being again. But at first it was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my entire life, and there's no way to sugarcoat that. All I did was sleep and just try and surround myself with like good vibes. So I was listening to different music. I have a playlist called Tunes for the Soul, which is all my favorite songs that completely raise my vibe. So I would listen to that all the time. I would be listening to guided meditations, even some ASMR things, which is just basically like relaxation type videos. I really like the energy healing ones. Luminate is one of my favorite. I would be listening to those, and it's actually inspired me to start my own ASMR channel. So I'm in the very beginning stages of that. I haven't created, well, I have created a few videos, but I have not released them yet. I will be making a separate channel for that. So if that's of interest to you, I'm sure I'll link it eventually to that kind of stuff. But anyways, so yeah, I could barely sleep at night because I was in so much pain. I'd have to lie on my back with kind of a neck pillow and just flat on my back because I couldn't turn. Because of the injuries in my neck, I was having dizzy spells. I couldn't sit up too fast or even just like turn my head too fast, or I'd end up like super dizzy. Stuff like that. Like I said, I stayed in bed a lot. For the first month, I think, or even 2 months, I was probably in bed most of the time. I couldn't fathom like getting out of bed because I was in so much pain. I couldn't focus. I couldn't even hold a conversation. I could not give any of myself to anybody. I just had to isolate for a little while and focus on resting and healing, which is completely weird after being, so busy with the kids and like my business has fallen off. I haven't worked on any content really. I've just been strictly focusing on healing. So it's been quite a roller coaster ride, and my emotions have been up and down, and I'm just trying to focus on getting better and not staying stuck in the hard stuff, because I know, mindset is like 90% of your life. And if your mindset's not right, then healing isn't going to go as well and stuff. So that was my one and only focus the entire time. And it still is. I'm still very distant from friends, from family. It's been a hard year just all around. Beginning of the year, my husband had to have lung surgery because he had a collapsed lung, which was his second one. He just built that way, I guess. His lungs, he's very tall, so his lungs are stretched out a bit, so it's easy for him to get collapsed lungs. So at the beginning of the year, he had surgery. And then, of course, we lost my stepdad to a terrible work accident. It was very sudden, heartbreaking. And stuff like that, and I had went into overdrive and just was, focusing on helping my mom and, just being there at the hospital and being with family and stuff, and it was good at the time, but afterwards I was very exhausted, and then again, the accident itself, so I'm have, like, a zero tolerance for any drama. I can't take on other people's problems right now, so even, like, having a friend come over and venting about their life and stuff like that, I can't process your stuff on top of mine at the moment, so it's been it's been hard, and I apologize to anyone that I've distanced myself from. It's not personal, I just cannot take on anymore, and I'm an empath, so I absorb everyone else's emotions, and I have enough of my own right now, so just being in my own space and focusing on myself right now is what's super important to me. So that's what I've been doing. And I'm slowly getting back into recording videos and, getting back into everything that I love to do. Also, during this whole healing process, my husband had to quit work because obviously my sister can't just abandon her life and come take care of the kids like 24/7, like we would. And my husband's job, he had just started a new job a couple months before I got into the accident, so he wasn't there very long. He was still kind of the new guy. And they were not at all understanding of the situation. They weren't very sympathetic, and they weren't allowing him any time. They were basically demoting him every time he would miss a day or something to try and like take care of the kids or help me out. So eventually he was just like, fuck it, like I'm leaving this job. They didn't deserve him because he's such a good worker, and um they weren't very human about the entire situation because yeah, it was a lot going on in our lives, and they just didn't care. He's another number to them, right? As most businesses I think are. So yeah, so he ended up quitting his job so that my sister can go off and do her own thing, and so that I wouldn't have to worry too much about cleaning and taking care of the kids. So he's taken on all of the responsibilities up until recently, when I'm starting to be able to, sweep the floor and do some dishes without having to take a break or getting super exhausted and having to go lay down or something, because for a long time that's how it was. Even just getting up and staying up for like 3 hours and just holding conversations, I would have to go lay down just to recharge my batteries because my body was so focused on healing. I had no energy for anything else. So, yeah, with him quitting work, that really hurt us financially. We're actually still struggling a little bit financially. I'm not going to go into too much details about that, but yeah, having to quit a job, and he was our sole income source, so we're kind of struggling with family and kind of fighting with insurance to get compensation while he's off work. So it's been a whole ordeal. We got lawyers, like trying to get everything done for us in a timely manner. So, but it's still a long process, and it's kind of frustrating at times. I had in September, I was supposed to go to a concert in Toronto, and they're my favorite band ever, NACO and Medicine for the People. As I mentioned, my Tunes for the Soul playlist, like their band is like 90% of that playlist. Their music is medicine, and I was so looking forward to going to that concert in September. But at that time, I still was not walking on my foot, and because of financial situation, we just weren't able to make that work. And I had decided, like, you know what, maybe it's best that I don't go because it's a lot better. Like, because I had no energy, I couldn't walk yet. I think I just would have been exhausted and not have enjoyed it as much as I would if I was healthy and walking around and be able to jump and dance and all that stuff. So that was pretty heartbreaking for me. It still is. I'm kind of upset, but I kept my tickets just to have them, just for fun. I was like, if I'm not going, no one else is gonna have my seat. So I kept my tickets. I didn't bother selling them or anything. But yeah, that was a big bummer. That was one of the things I was like super, super down about after this whole ordeal. And then summer, I didn't have summer. Um, I think I went kayaking once. I didn't go swimming once. Summer is like my favorite time of year. I love hiking, swimming, all that kind of stuff, spending time outside, and I basically spent my summer in bed because of everything that has went down. So yeah, it was really hard not being able to do the things I like to do. It was really hard not being able to, be a mom and like do the things that I like to do with my kids. I couldn't lay on the floor and play with them and tickle them because I was so in so much pain. So I don't know, I kind of missed out on they kind of missed out on the summer too because I was so hurt and dad was overwhelmed with, you know, like this daily life and chores and money situation. So it was really hard to give them a good summer. So kind of bummed out about that too. But But yeah, overall, I've been really focusing on like clearing my mindset and just kind of clearing the trauma itself from the accident, um, which I'm doing pretty good mentally. I could get into a car. I'm not super nervous or anything like that, which I thought I was going to be, but I think a lot of the intentional healing and releasing of everything that went on has really helped with that. There have been a few times, like, I'll just be laying there at night just about to fall asleep, and then I will hear the sound, like, just out of the blue, like, I'll hear the accident happen, the big crash and the bang, and then all that, and it'll, like, shock me out of bed, and it takes me a little while to like relax again after that. That hasn't happened in a little while now, so I'm hoping that is being let go as well as I'm like doing some releasing and things like that. Yeah, there was also another time when we were going to pick up my sister at her house, and I was looking at my phone while my husband was driving, and he had to brake really hard because of like someone in front of him had to stop, so he just like, he had to brake really hard. And I had a panic attack. I had a full-blown panic attack. I started crying, I was shaking, I had to get out of the car. We were 2 seconds away from where we were going, so I was able to get out of the car, pretty quick, but yeah, it took me a couple minutes to compose myself and get that get over it, I guess. So yeah, there's, like, I don't know, there's just a lot of little things that came of this. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but yeah, it's very traumatic when you go through something, like a car accident or something, and it's very hard on your mental state, it's very hard on your body, obviously. Um, so yeah, I feel for anyone who's ever been in that situation. Um, and yeah, I'm very grateful to still be here because the accident itself was pretty freaking serious, and I'm just very grateful that all of us lived to tell the story. So yeah, so I'll just tell you a little bit about where I'm at now, and then I won't bore you with anything else. um, so right now I'm officially walking with my walking boot, and I'm having weekly physio appointments, so they're helping me do some stretches and get my body moving properly again. And she's helping me wean off the boots, so I got some exercises to do, and I gotta stretch my foot out and um, start putting some weight on it without the boot on. And so yeah, it's been a long road, but I'm finally starting to see some actual progress in my healing, which has been um, very encouraging. So my prognosis is I should be completely fine after. There was no like broken bones in my upper body or anything like that. It was all pretty much muscular, like bruises and injuries. So it should heal rather well, as well as my foot. There are 2 pins in my foot, but that's going to heal pretty well as well. They're not worried about me needing any special shoes or anything like that, which I'm grateful for. So yeah, that's what's up until this point. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of share my story, get it off my chest, as well as just kind of go over what my life is like been like in the past 4 months or so. So, anyways, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.